When you have the best economy probably that we've ever had, I don't know, how the hell do you lose this election, right? Gotta win this state. We did great last time. Remember the polls, the fake polls? Pennsylvania will go to Hillary Clinton. Unfortunately for them, didn't work out that way.
The president at a rally in Pennsylvania last night, working to keep that battleground state in his win column next year. Politico reporting that his team is trying to reverse a slide in support in the Rust Belt states that will be key to his election. And joining us now, Karl Rove, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Karl, that Politico piece says that the president's own polling, internal polling, shows him running behind in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. Yeah. Does that sound likely to you?
Well, we've seen some evidence in the public polling, but my sense is the Trump campaign feels very cautious about their chances in those three states. It's critical. Remember, these were the three closest states in the presidential election that Donald Trump won. And if he had lost those three states, he would not be president. In fact, take a look at these numbers. The Trump blue wall. Remember, we were talking about breaking the blue wall on election night 2016. In these three states, nearly 14 million people voted, and the president's combined margin in all three states is just over 77,000. That is just over one half of 1% of the total number of votes cast in those states. And as you can see in Pennsylvania, there's 6.2 million voters, nearly 6.2 million, and the president carries it by 44,000. That is 0.75%. So all three of these states are critical to his reelection. All three were close last time around. If he loses three of these three states, he's no longer president unless he makes it up elsewhere. So we're seeing the Trump campaign put a special effort on these three states. Plus, we're also seeing the Trump campaign looking for some additional targets: New Hampshire, Nevada, Minnesota, Colorado, maybe New Mexico, that they've talked about, that they would try and replace some of these states if they lose Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. But these are three big states, and they won last time because they carried those states.
You also see the Trump campaign going after Joe Biden pretty aggressively. When you look at the Quinnipiac poll of the top 5 Democrat choices among Pennsylvania voters, 39% say they like Joe Biden, only 13% for Sanders, and then you see the others. Joe Biden, it would seem at this moment in time, is the president's biggest threat in those states, Karl.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's not an accident that Pennsylvania is a particular strength for Biden. He's born in Scranton. Now, the president last night said he deserted you. Well, at the age of 11, I don't think he had much input over the family's decision to move to Delaware. But he has represented Delaware in the U.S. Senate for, I think, about a third of a century. Delaware's TV is generated out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so he's sort of known as sort of the third senator from Pennsylvania. He's got his headquarters in Philadelphia. He recognizes how central Pennsylvania could be to the general election, so he's starting right at the beginning by putting his headquarters there. So the Biden's missing no tricks. This is going to be a tough state for the president to hold, but it's absolutely critical that he do hold it.
And one imagines that Democrats won't make the same mistake that Hillary Clinton did and not even visit Wisconsin as once the Democrats come up with a nominee.
Yeah, and look, they're not going to make the same mistake they made in Michigan, which was taking all the Michigan Democratic volunteers and putting them on a bus and sending them to Iowa, where they were way behind. And Iowa has 6 electoral votes. Michigan has 16. If you've got a choice between solidifying Michigan and trying to win Iowa, I think the answer is you better try and solidify Michigan by letting the Michigan Democratic volunteers stay home in Michigan.
That Politico piece also suggests that the Trump campaign might try, or is trying, to discourage John James from running for a Senate seat in Michigan. Why would they do that?
Well, a couple of things. One is John James has particular strength in the African-American community, and he gets ticket splitters. So what I think they're concerned about, if this is true, what they're concerned about is that he would draw support from people who would otherwise vote for a Democrat for president and then vote for him for the U.S. Senate. There's other people are talking about John James running for Congress for a different reason. He's a terrific talent. He ran for the Senate and lost last time around. A second statewide loss would sort of potentially end his political career. There are a couple of Republican seats in the suburbs of Detroit that Donald Trump carried last time around that are not now held by a Democrat. John James could conceivably knock one of those people off and start himself what I think would be a long career, successful career in elective office.
Also, some fears apparently that he would cause Democrats to spend a lot of money in the state and lift the Democratic vote in Michigan.
They're already going to be spending lots of money in the state. That ain't a good reason, because they're going to be spending gobs of money in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
Karl Rove.
If you have children in those states, don't let them watch television starting sometime next year.
All right, Karl Rove, thank you.